My name is Benedict. You're most likely looking at this because you're considering hiring me for some kind of freelance work. I basically present in two arenas and encourage a little bit of crossover in that, or a lot of crossover in that. The first one I talk about is music. I'm a composer. There's plenty of my work that I've no doubt referenced for you to have a listen to. Please take your time. It is unique work. So if you're looking for clones of, then I may not be your guy, but if you're looking for something that is going to make your project stand out as being original and unique, please have a listen. My stuff may not suit, but it may. So that's a good thing. The other thing that I do in the music arena, you can see here I'm working on an instrument that's in development from a fellow called Scrock. I've done an awful lot of work for him, mostly as a sound designer, but I also give him advice on the architecture of his instruments. Seeing I've designed instruments myself, I know what is likely to make an instrument work well and to make it popular, and the idea is you want people to come back. So I've been working on sounds which become part of the package when he sells that instrument. It's got some preset sounds, and I'm probably his major contributor on that. The other thing that you may well be looking at me for is for technical writing. I'm not a bad writer, and I do have a pretty good ability to understand a domain and the things within that domain, how they function. Obviously I've got a great understanding of the home studio domain, what we would be doing when we're using our DAW, and what's necessary and what works. There's a lot of hype, there's a lot of stuff that I think is detrimental and slows people down. Try to get through that and present things simply with a focus on what's actually important and going to help people progress. There are too many people just trying to take cash off people. If you have articles which help people to get to the number what they're looking for, then they should see you as being more trusted. That's a pretty important thing for me. But I've also worked in domains which are web and cars. Cars led to web. Probably inevitable, lots of musicians work in web as well, but cars taught me how to sell things, and that is to people who want to buy, not just to spam product at people, but to find out what's their need, what suits their need, solves their problem, and how to, in terms of cars, get it in their driveway. They're the important steps in sales, and web should not be about hiring some IT guy or someone who can draw pretty pictures. It should be about how can we use this medium to help move people to the next stage of our sales process. Because if you are running a business, ultimately you are selling something, whether that's yourself or a product. Then you do need to walk people through the stages. You've got to find their objections, resolve those objections, or if necessary, so thanks sir, but I appreciate you just don't physically fit in this car. What about you look at those sorts of options over with Nissan? So writing, and in a domain, I can write to help build web content that's going to focus on people who want to drill down and find those extra, more important pieces of information to them. I know lots of people, they want to read 4 words, my product's great, but you're going to lose an awful lot of people if you don't allow people like myself to dig down to the extra levels to get screeds of information that most people are going to ignore, but those people, once you win them over, they will buy. So that's a big factor for me, or a big focus for me in writing that, but also in writing informative articles to take information from a domain that's perceived as complex. So having worked in cars, I wrote a lot of articles on how cars worked. Basically, how does a combustion engine work? Not really my interest, I'm not a mechanic, but by looking at high level, from a driver's perspective, from an owner's perspective, how does it work? What does it need to do? How should you look after it? What sort of things are you likely to encounter in the servicing of said vehicle? Hopefully you are servicing, lest it fall to pieces. And to explain and get that across to people. Those sorts of articles are of inestimable value, because if you're running that sort of thing on your website, your blog, through emails that you send out to people, bulletin type stuff, then you're establishing yourself as being the expert. But more importantly, rather than writing a whole lot of technobabble, which no one understands, you're saying, I am able to take this complex thing and make it easier for you to understand. We are good at expressing these things to help you understand why. A, you might want to service your car, and B, you may not want to ride your brakes down every hill lest they start to squeak and cost you money next time you service them. Things like that. So they're my specialties. I hope some of that is of interest to you. If it's not, great, no worries. Just let me know in a response to say thanks, but not really what we're looking for. In terms of price, I quote the $50 an hour as a standard. You're coming to me for production or music work. I am flexible. First off the bat, I'll say I'm not interested in doing underpaid work. So if you want to pay me $20 to write 1,500 words, you're not interested in hiring me. Again, just give me a nice response so I know you're professional, and I'll move on. So will you. But if you think, oh, okay, it's going to cost me vast amounts of money, yeah, it might if you're having a vastly enthusiastic project. But I will also work for less if you engage with me and make an offer. You need to make a firm offer. If you go, look, I really want to work with Benedict, he's got some great things that's going to suit what I'm doing, not sure I can quite afford that, that's just the standard price. Please make me the offer. Say, look, $1,000 might be out of my arena, but X is achievable for me. If you could do this and allow me to feel like it's worth my while, please make that offer to me. You are the guy that's hiring, I'm the guy that's offering, but you can also make an offer to me to say, hey, I'd love to have you do this. Would we be able to work for X? And if it's a project that I'm interested in, and I will rarely pitch on a job that I wouldn't be interested in, because I don't like wasting my time on things that are boring to me. If I am interested and what you offer is fair and going to keep me engaged, amused, then there's a fairly reasonable chance that I will say, yes, great, let's do this thing and let's enjoy it. Thank you very much.